Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome. My name is Sadhana. Hello. And today I am here to answer a question that arose in one of the classes in a course that I am teaching called Tarot Through the Chakras. And today I am going to address the question of where is the home of the goddess? Does the goddess live in the Muladhara root chakra, the Swadhisthana sacral chakra, or is her home somewhere else in the physical body, in the etheric body, in the pranic body? And this was a question that one of the students who's registered in the class wanted to have more awareness of. And so that's the topic for today. And if you're interested in this, please let me know if you have other related questions. Okay, so first I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and why it is that I'm here and how the Tarot Through the Chakras courses arose. So I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, I did a course called Tarot Through the Chakras 1, and Tarot Through the Chakras 2 was a follow-up because the students wanted more information. And then I've had another request, and so I decided to join these two courses together, and I'm offering this live on YouTube. And this is a monthly broadcast. It's a paid broadcast, and you can go back and view these lessons at any point. So the name Sadhana was given to me by my teacher. She's not my direct teacher. She is the acting guru of the ashram that I am affiliated with in the Satyananda lineage. And her name is Swami Satsangi. And Swami Satsangi, when I was initiated with my mantra Diksha, my mantra initiation, was given the name Sadhana. And this to me I was so surprised in being given this name. It was a kind of a heavy name. I thought it felt like a dharma to be filled. It was like being given this name meant this was now my time to step into a more structured practice of yoga. And if I were to live up to this name, that I would need to find a way to fulfill this path. And it's really been an interesting journey. So I did begin, like many people, with the practice of yoga through the physical practice. And I was doing Bikram's yoga classes faithfully and almost excessively. I think I even began, or soon after I started, I did a 40-day Bikram yoga challenge, and then it just spiraled from there. And I did some Ashtanga training and did lots of extra deep workshop things on the weekends, and really began to explore the depths of yoga. And it didn't take long before I started to realize this was so much bigger than the physical practice of yoga. And I could tell that there were shifts in my experience in my body. And I would lie there in Shavasana, in the corpse pose at the end of a physical practice, just kind of staring at all these things that were around me. I was really fascinated in large pink orbs that came very close and wouldn't leave. It evolved, and I began to sit at the back of the class. And in those days, the Bikram yoga classes all had they still do, mirrors, right? So you can observe your alignment and so forth. And I was observing other students' auras and got really, really curious about that. So the reason I'm telling you this is that my journey with yoga has been long and deep. And it actually started years before that. I started when I was a college student, and I had I would say, a mini unprepared awakening experience when I was 17 years old and left my body. The yoga instructor wasn't prepared for this either. And so this has been a winding journey. And through that have taken many extended meditation courses, weekends. I'm a certified yoga nidra instructor, both in the Satyananda lineage as well as through Amrit Yoga. And I was privileged to attend the first International Yoga Nidra Conference at Kripalu a couple of years ago before COVID. That is something I'm very passionate about and teach every week, is Yoga Nidra. I do a restorative yoga practice followed by a Yoga Nidra. And it's just been amazing. After, I don't know when it happened. So I did do my yoga teacher training. I was one of those students who was just so curious, and so a 200-hour wasn't enough, and so I took another 200-hour with another instructor, and then with another lineage, and then I just continued to expand my mind, my repertoire, my interest, my fascination. And I have done Kriya Yoga in India, all kinds of things. So my experience in teaching this course is very practical. So I have lived many of these practices. I have listened to many wonderful teachers talk about the energy experience. And so I came to the tarot about, more than 25 years ago. I was supporting one of my children through the experience of, she was having visions and having visitations at night. And I used the tarot and my study of the tarot as a way to support her through that difficult time. And then I just really became more and more interested and fascinated with the tarot and the connections of yoga and the tarot. And my tarot journey has also woven through quite a different... So I began with the plaid-backed RWS simultaneously with a mini Thoth deck, and that's sort of where it began. And then I quickly dove into the Osho Zen Tarot for about 3 years and worked exclusively with that deck because it resonated so well with yogic teachings and things I was familiar with. And then it was Robin Wood for a couple of years. And so when I began, there weren't a lot of decks that were on the market like there are today. And so the more I began to work with people, the more I realized that I could integrate these two modalities, yogic, sadhana, psychology, with the tarot. And then the more I began to read and research, I began to understand that there was some understanding of yoga through many of the yoga adepts that had created some of these older decks, like Barbara Walker, for example, which is just saying that's a deck that I need to study and go into and work with that. So hi, Hannah and Clevis. Namaste. Welcome. Thanks for being here. So, so what I'm doing is that once a month, I am offering a course where we look at tarot cards and I attempt to work the energy of one chakra at a time through the tarot deck. And this is a matter of understanding that in the Suit of Pentacles, this is not just the lessons of the Muladhara root chakra. There is so much more to understanding it than that. And so in this course, I build in some of the yoga psychology because that's imperative to understanding the chakras. And then we look at the cards in terms of one chakra at a time. And then in saying that, it's also really important to understand that you can't study one chakra at a time. The chakras are connected. Some of the traumas, the issues, they are multi-layered. And so this is it's a very personal self-study for you to bring another modality into working through your stuff, your healing journey. Okay, so that's the intention of the course. Now, I've done 2 in this series, and in the Swadhisthana class, so because these are now live on YouTube, they're unlisted, they're private, the students have an option to leave a question below. And I decided to answer this question publicly. Yes, it's a promotion for my course, but also I want a lot of my tarot subscribers and members to understand that sort of where I'm coming from and who I am, because I haven't done this kind of a video for a while. The question was, where is the goddess? Where is the seat of the goddess? That is a question. So, I love that you're knitting. That's just, I hope you're knitting with bamboo needles. I love knitting with bamboo needles, and that's something that I would love to get back to. Kundalini, Shakti. So the aspect of the divine feminine is said to live in Muladhara chakra, wound 3.5 times around the Muladhara chakra. I'm going to begin here. Why 3.5 times? Because there are 3 knots, granthis, that need to be opened in order for kundalini to rise. And the half is for transcendence. Part of this understanding of the chakras is to be able to also locate them in the physical body. So what we do in this course is I teach you how to find and locate and develop a sensitivity to where the chakras are in the physical body. This is really important. Welcome, Amelia. So as you develop a sensitivity to the energy of the chakras and work with your own self-healing awareness, you can become more aware of where kundalini is at this time in your pranic body. So I'm saying that it is also important to understand that the lower 6 chakras, so Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahat, Vishuddhi, Ajna, root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, are like a switch. And we turn on these switches. And sometimes these switches go on, sometimes they go back off, sometimes they kind of get stuck in the middle. And these are all switches to awaken kundalini, whose real home actually is in the Sahasrara chakra, in the crown chakra. The activation at Muladhara and Swadhisthana at the root and the sacral chakra is about awakening the crown chakra. Her energy truly lives with God. But by working with, not but, and by working with these lower chakras, we have an opportunity to begin to activate these switches. Some of these switches are more sticky than others. Some of them are locked like cement. And I've heard all kinds of descriptions around like the calcification of the pineal gland, things like that. So there's actually scientific, biological descriptions of these blockages that exist. So there's many, many layers to this. Kundalini Shakti lives, the seat of Kundalini Shakti at the Muladhara chakra is the place where you will hear, learn, read that Kundalini rests in most people. And how do we know if Kundalini is at Muladhara chakra or still at Muladhara chakra? Muladhara chakra, in essence, is about our survival instincts. And it is about it's about our family, and it's about our ability to move in and out of our family, our tribe, with ease. And the best way I can describe this is, you know that your Muladhara chakra is becoming clear when you can go home and be yourself. When you go home and you put on a different voice, you dress differently, you act differently, you are in a different stage. There's various attachments and fears that are part of this awakening and this opening. And so in the course, we can begin to find some of these associations in the images in the tarot deck or in the energy of the cards. So Ma Kundalini, resting in this place of deep attachment to family and fear around breaking away from family traditions, fear of survival. There may be issues around food or other traumas connected with safety, for one, safety. If you are feeling unsafe, this is a cue that that Kundalini rests in Muladhara chakra. And so through the process of this class, we will begin to recognize more readily the characteristics of a blocked or partially blocked chakra. Swadhisthana chakra is the place through which we were birthed into this third dimension through the womb of our mothers. And so it is quite natural to think that Kundalini Shakti lives at Swadhisthana chakra. And for many people, she does. She lives here. And I would say the majority of people, I would say that all people. We never completely transcend Swadhisthana chakra. It is a powerful and rich, karmically dense chakra. This is the place, the seat of the karmas. It is the muddiest of waters. And we can find Swadhisthana chakra in every single card in the tarot deck. And so in the class, we begin to look at characteristics of Swadhisthana. And if you think about physically where it's located in the body, it is, so in the spinal column, if you can locate your coccyx, that's where Muladhara is, Swadhisthana, sacral chakra, is located in the spine. And the frontal point is the pubic bone. And so this area of the body is our reproductive organs. In the male body, we have 2 testes, and in the female body, we have 2 ovaries, for the most part. And so, when we're looking at issues of Swadhisthana chakra, we're looking at relationships. We're looking at relationships. The number's 2, right? The number 2, 1 and 1. And we're trying to harmonize this. Now, there is a lot, this is the home of the waters, the element of water, and there is a lot of emotional issues that arise here. So, slowly, we begin to unpack what this means and what this number 2 represents emotionally. Understanding what emotion is another big thing that takes years to actually sink in at a cellular level. Energy in motion, E-motion. So even when you are a devoted yoga practitioner, you wear a orange robe and you are living in a monastery or an ashram, you likely never transcend this particular chakra. But the secret is in understanding that. And there is this process of loosening the fear of transcending this chakra. And if we can loosen the tension in this chakra, so one of the things about this chakra is we want flow in life. We want ease in life. And if we can release those restrictions, we can ascend and to Manipura chakra, to the solar plexus. So it is likely for most people that the goddess is resting at the sacral chakra or the root chakra. Unless you have been doing dedicated pranayam, dedicated meditation practices, kundalini likely lives in the lower 2 chakras. I'm just going to go to a question or a comment in the chat here, and then I'll carry on. It's not a question, it's a statement. So obviously it's a benign tumor. And, it's really interesting. It's like this awareness of the connection between physical illness, syndromes, traumas, to our spiritual awakening is part and parcel with our ascension. We can find spirit through the suit of wands. The journey through the suit of cups can also lead us to a lighter frequency, as it will through the suit of swords and the suit of pentacles, and quite naturally through the major archetypes of the major arcana. And so this journey is one of exploring and loosening the boundaries around what you learned from the little white book, looking at the tarot energetically instead of literally. And then in using that as a self-help tool, you can begin to soften some of these edges. Now, I had a funny, so there's lots of movies, lots of stories, lots of books that subvertly tell the story of the chakras. And I just want to talk a little bit about this. And many of you know me. One of my children was how old is she now? I don't know how old she is, 28. She was such a Harry Potter nerd. My hair kind of looks like Hermione today, oh my goodness. And because of her, I read and reread all of the Harry Potter books and saw the movies many times, and very enchanted by these stories. And so I often use Harry Potter references when I'm teaching and when I'm talking about the tarot. And today I was thinking about the devil's snare. So devil's snare, sorry, Hermione hair has to disappear. Devil's snare was a plant that grew between the trap door where the three-headed dog was protecting the space where there was the live chessboard, and at the end of the first movie, Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron went down and they threw the chess game. And so Devil's Snare was that plant that was protecting that part of the school. And Ron and Harry were becoming more and more entrapped. It was like a plant that the more you react, the more you move, the more the tendrils of the plant wrap around you, and you will eventually strangle and die. And Hermione, who is a bit of a brainiac, says to the boys, and she has this sort of what do we call it, a photographic memory. So she remembers things from school books, and she says to them that she repeats a quote from a book. I think it sounded like a poem. I can hear the poem in my head, and the gist of it is, if you relax, you'll just fall through. If you stop struggling, you'll just fall through. And I was thinking about that today as I was reading a book written by Swami Satyananda. And the idea here with transcending Swadhisthana chakra is the letting go of needing to make everything perfect. There's this idea of letting go and trusting and softening everything that clings to you. And there are so many potent correspondences between the tarot, this story, the healing of the Swadhisthana chakra. So you can think of those tendrils of Devil's Snare like the chains in the Devil card. The devil, while it is associated with Capricorn, and funny, this season of excessive buying and drinking and eating and all of that, the biggest lesson here is to simply let go. and not allow the external to have power over you. The external may be a memory, a traumatic memory. The external may be a food. It could be any number of things. But if we let go, we can flow through with ease. But this takes time. This takes that sort of, my scalp is just kind of going like this right now. I think I've hit something, because I never saw the transcendence of the Swadhisthana chakra in this scene. And yes, they're going down, but this is all relative. Up is down, down is up, right? Okay. So, yeah. So, where is the home of the goddess? Well, in each of you, the goddess is seated in a different energetic part of your body. And the process is to enhance your awareness with each of the chakras so that you can further stimulate and begin to work through issues associated with each of the chakras, so you can be lighter and freer and less attached. Yeah. So it's not a matter of simply doing a tarot spread and saying, where is the goddess? It's much more complicated than that. And yes, we could pull some cards and say, is the goddess here? Is the goddess here? Is the goddess here? Help me to understand what the issues of the goddess are. Sure, you can do that. But in Tarot Through the Chakras, we're taking this to a whole other level and building this in through deeper associations. Yeah. And I can't do a reading for the collective because you are all individual. And then you also need to understand that learning to see the lessons of each of the chakras in the cards is a bit of a journey as well too. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Hannah, I really appreciate this comment. And there is, of course, the symbol of mud is very significant in this journey as well too, because the lotus journeys through the mud, and sometimes we need to be in the mud for some time. The seed is in the mud. Don't doubt it's there. It's there. It's just not found enough energy to rise through the mud. So, yeah. Okay, so I hope that I have answered your question, Gergana. And if there are other questions, for those of you that are enrolled in the course, be sure to put your questions below each of the videos. And I will likely address them in future classes, or from time to time, I may address them publicly. Okay, so thank you. I look forward to seeing you again. Take good care of yourselves. Namaste.